Tonight on Marquette Now, a student's racially insensitive Snapchat post and how the university is responding.
Look up, a mural you might have seen and the recognition it's finally getting.
We use murals to build confidence within communities.
A team of high-octane engineers and how they're back on track in racing to the checkered flag.
We basically built a car from scratch. The only thing that's stock is the engine.
And when life gives you limes, what does MUPD do? Ban them. We'll show you the policies against the scooters and what MUPD isn't doing.
From the Jeannie Hayes Virtual Studio, this is Marquette Now.
Good evening, I'm Timothy Lateau.
And I'm Grace Lambertson. Welcome to Marquette Now.
We begin tonight with a developing story, Campus in Shock, after first-year College of Business Administration student Cameron Ray is found dead in Cobyne Residence Hall.
MUPD responded to Cobyne for a call of respiratory arrest according to the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's report of the situation.
The Milwaukee County Medical Examiner pronounced Ray dead at 10:34 p.m. Monday.
The medical examiner's report stated that Ray had a history of diabetes with insulin found near him. No signs of trauma were found.
Ray had no history of illegal drug, alcohol, or tobacco use documented by MUPD.
University President Michael Lovell sent out a campus-wide email saying, quote, "Every one of us brings a special light to our Marquette community. We share this heartbreak with Cameron's family and friends whose lives are forever changed."
Acting Keys Dean of the College of Business Administration, Tim Hanley, says room 407 is being offered for reflection or a moment of silence for students if needed. And another developing story this week, an anti-LGBTQ Plus message from one campus ministry group member to another.
A message was sent by sophomore Amaya Brooks regarding a Pride Week event in a group chat for Crew, an interdenominational religious group.
That Soup with Substance Glitter and Grit event is a campus ministry event in partnership with the LGBTQ Resource Center.
Sophomore Cameron Davila sends a text message to Brooks asking her to take it down, saying, quote, "There is a diversity of views between denominations, but Crew does not hold to diverse views of gender and sexuality. The Bible is very clear on the topic, and I think we would appreciate it if views on topics like pride could be held in a different chat."
Brooks' response questions why the event makes him uncomfortable.
Davila later adds, quote, "Your message kind of points more
like
to a celebration of sin
it could have been
rather
avoided
than a
almost
communion
altogether.
with
If he had a problem with it specifically and he was questioning me, I feel like it would have been a lot easier for him to say like, hey, could we meet up in person? I think the biggest problem was understanding his tone within his messages. One of the heads of Crew talked to Cameron yesterday about the whole situation and how it was wrong that he didn't consult any other member in Crew as he was speaking on behalf of Crew.
The Marquette Wire has reached out to Davila multiple times, but he has not responded as of now. We were able to speak with Amaya on her perspective of the situation. Check marquettewire.org for any updates. And another story, hurtful, hateful, and deeply saddening. That is how Opus College of Engineering Dean Christina Rapella describes a racist social media post from a senior engineer student.
The content was posted on Snapchat Friday night, displaying a man in an alien costume wearing a traditional Mexican men's hat and a sticker with the word undocumented written on it. The incident is under investigation after the university initiated the student conduct process Monday morning.
We are joined live by Executive Director of the Marquette Wire, Andrew Amuzu, who broke the news earlier this week to discuss steps moving forward. Andrew?
Tim and Grace, thorough discussions about the next steps have already taken place after the news broke yesterday, but many are just saying this is just a start. Last night, a discussion hosted by the Marquette Dreamers organization was held in support for those affected by the social media post, which included dreamers, students with mixed status families, and allies in support. Among those present was Dean of the College of Engineering, Christina Rapella, Associate Dean of Academic Affairs, Dr. Mark Federley, and Provost Kimo Ayun. Students tell me that the discussion was tense and productive, expressing the need for more action from administration and describing difficult experiences they face on campus. One student mentions that having discussions like these is a good step forward and hopes it can even be held bi-monthly or even bi-weekly. Tim Grace.
And Andrew, with the university being classified as an emerging Hispanic serving institution, how has the university responded and what consequences will the students involved in the incident face?
Being an emerging Hispanic serving institution and in the light of the convocation demonstration back in August, all eyes will for sure be on how the university handles this situation. And in a statement released to the Marquette Wire, the university states that, quote, racism and discrimination have no place on our campus and that administration takes swift action to address these matters. So the student conduct process was initiated immediately, the university says. So for now, investigations continue.
Pertaining to the call for allyship, what does that look like? How is that present at the discussion, and how can it continue?
Well, allyship begins with showing up to events like these and ones that celebrate different cultures. A white woman who attended the event explained how white men and women automatically feel accepted and safe on campus, but having her friends of various ethnic backgrounds not feel the same is, quote, terrible and disgusting. So it starts with showing up, being willing to learn about realities outside of your own, and understanding your role in positive change. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Andrew. Stay updated with the latest on this story by going to marquettewire.org.
Turning now to Marquette University Police Department, they say their behavioral health unit is having success in its first 2 months.
The initiative is being led by an MUPD officer and a newly hired crisis worker.
The department says it decided to have a unit specifically dedicated to helping people and students in need of mental health services, in part because it's located in such a populated area between students, the greater community, and the homeless shelters.
The goal of the unit is focused on connecting individuals with resources to find them housing or mental health assistance.
And the formal dedication of the Our Roots Say We Are Sisters mural is held in the Ray and Eckstein Commons this week. The dedication featured several speakers, including the mural's artist and one of the mural's models.
I really hope that the other, not only Native American women, but the other minorities on campus can feel proud, can feel included in campus, and just be able to see their face, their people up on the wall.
The ceremony also included a ceremonial dance and an intercultural blessing of the mural. The mural has inspired a podcast, which can be found on the Haggerty Museum of Art website.
Marquette University leaders are meeting with the Cardinal Stritch University leadership this week to address the needs of their students and staff following the closure of their campus after its final commencement this May. According to a statement from President Lovell, an anonymous Cardinal Stritch student shared with us their reaction to the sudden news last Monday.
I was together with my friends when we got the email, and we just read it and we didn't believe it, so we asked our coach and we asked the teachers, and they said yeah, it was true, so we didn't know what to do, and we just started crying.
Now back on our campus, TJ Dysart joins us in studio about the policy MUPD is not enforcing.
Yes, thanks guys. Electric scooters have emerged as a popular way to get around campus, and while these scooters are inexpensive, eco-friendly, and easy to use, students have been asking one very important question. Aren't they banned? And the answer is yes. In August of 2019, Marquette enacted the ban just a month after the scooters were launched in the city of Milwaukee. The ban would not only restrict electric scooters on campus sidewalks and streets, but also segways, electric bikes, and hoverboards. Many colleges have followed in Marquette's footsteps, enacting similar bans, citing safety concerns. An assistant chief of Marquette Police, Jeffrey Kranz, tells me that, quote, it's an issue based more on pedestrian traffic than car traffic, but an issue based on both. Kranz also noted that in the academic year, MUPD has only received 4 total calls regarding the electric scooters, One called for a scooter going too fast, and the other 3 for a scooter simply laying around unattended on campus. And while the ban is still in effect, MUPD has not been enforcing the rules since there have not been instances of safety issues this academic year. The last time an actual collision took place was back in the year of 2019. And Lime scooters saw their greatest growth yet in the year of 2022, showing that they had gross bookings of $466 million, which was a 31% increase from the year of 2021. And for Milwaukee, since the launch in 2019, over 150,000 took over 635,000 Lime rides. So at least in Wisconsin, Tim, Grace, these scooters aren't going anywhere.
TJ, thank you. The farewell reception for Dr. Xavier Cole will be held April 25th in the Alumni Memorial Union Hanky Lounge.
Cole has been named as president-elect of Loyola University, New Orleans.
Cole wraps up his time as vice president for student affairs after 7 years at Marquette.
His tenure at Loyola is set to begin June 1st.
Milwaukee and Marquette's own Alba J Deacon makes a transition from working in the physical therapy clinic for the past 9 years.
He becomes the first ever diversity, equity, and inclusion coordinator for the Department of Physical Therapy.
Marquette Now's Hannah Fryrick catches up with this new member of the PT team.
Deacon looks to bring an emphasis on the value of perspectives.
And I think with increased diversity brings unique perspectives.
The role entails making sure students are heard while also doing civic engagement work within the Milwaukee community.
About 10% of my role involves community engagement. So that's establishing relationships with like MPS schools and things of that nature.
Students in the DPT program are also benefiting from having Deacon take on this new role.
We're going to be working with a bunch of different patients who have different ethnicities and backgrounds. So getting an education like that throughout this program in college is very important so that as we move into our professional phase, we'll be more knowledgeable of how to treat our patients.
He wants to take the experiences of others to foster change on campus.
I really want to take the approach of listening to a lot of the students, the faculty first, to understand where things are at, and then come up with strategic initiatives to address the limitations, the problems, the barriers that currently exist.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion may be a hot topic, but Alba J Deacon is addressing it well into his new role in the physical therapy program. I'm Hannah Fryrick, Marquette Wire News.
Well, it's great to see students getting active alongside Deacon.
That's right, Tim. It's not exactly a great time to get active outside, though. Gabriel Cicerica joins us with more about that.
Thanks, guys. It's looking and feeling a bit different than last time this week. And as we get into the forecast for this week, currently it is 42 degrees outside, and boy, it is cold, and man, it is raining. The humidity is 75%, the precipitation is at 51%, so Marquette, make sure to get your raincoats. Meanwhile, the winds are coming in from the northeast at 15 miles per hour. And Marquette, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the rest of your weather forecast right after this.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, such a weirdo, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world? You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
And welcome back to Marquette Now. I'm Gabriel Cicerica, and here to take a closer look at your weather. Looking into tonight, it's currently 41 degrees outside, and it is still raining, so make sure to keep those raincoats on. And now into the state overnight lows. Looking at the overnight lows up north, staying in the 30s, which is typical for Wisconsin, and then going down south, warmer weather, 45 in Madison and 41 in Milwaukee. Now keeping it going, state highs tomorrow. Looking at tomorrow's highs, it's going to be again a little cooler in the north, but getting up to around the high 60s in Madison and Milwaukee. Now going into tomorrow's weather here in Milwaukee, don't get too excited because that rain will still be upon us. The humidity is sitting at 67% with the precipitation at 85 and winds coming in from the south. Now moving on to the 5-day forecast. As we take a look, like I said, it will be raining tomorrow. When that rain goes away, it'll stay in the mid-40s throughout the week. And looking into Monday and Tuesday of next week, it'll stay in the 40s and move up to the 50s. And now coming back to our desk. Grace, Tim, the weather's finally going to get rid of that rain. What can we look forward to this weekend?
Yeah, so glad to see that the weather's moving out. So there's some big campus events coming up on Saturday, Grace.
Yeah, the spring concert is coming up, so hopefully the weather sticks out for that. Are you guys going to go?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't wait. And that's right, Marquette Radio announces their headliner for their spring concert.
Rick Wilson will be headlining with supporting acts Dwayne and Micah Emmerich, as well as Spider Creek.
The concert will be held on Friday, April 21st in the Exton Commons.
The concert will also be broadcast live on Marquette University Television YouTube channel.
And another big campus event this weekend, this one for suicide prevention.
Suicide is the leading cause of preventable death for the 15 to 24-year-old age group, according to the Center for Disease Controls and Preventions. But an event this weekend is hoping to make a difference.
The Out of the Darkness Campus Walk is being held on Saturday morning in association with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
The aim is to raise awareness for mental health resources available on campus.
Suicide is a preventable cause of death, so we want to share that, and if we have all these resources but people don't know about them, what's the point?
There's listening ears around campus. We have multiple resources here on campus, including the Student Wellness Center for health promotion, as well as the Counseling Center. MUPD has a behavioral health unit that is trained in mental health aspects. There's many great professionals around campus that don't even work in those offices that are willing to listen to students and get them the help that they need.
So important to get that help, and you can register to participate or donate at this link on your screen.
And it's already received $2,000 in donations.
Spring is in the air with these events coming up, but students aren't the only ones buzzing around campus.
Honeybees are playing an important role in on-campus research. By studying honeybee colonies, Dr. Chelsea Cook is able to learn more about human behavior.
If you'd like to learn more about what all the
parallels in the human society, and so I just got absolutely fascinated with how evolution and behavior mixed, and how we could learn more about how social behavior and societies evolve.
And if you'd like to learn more about what all this buzz is about, check out thecooklab.org. A new pilot program kicks off at the end of this semester to repurpose items from residence halls.
Carlos Gonzalez, a graduate of the College of Engineering in 2021, pitched the idea during the 2021 Brood Ideas Challenge.
This program begins on May 1st and runs until May 14th.
4 residence halls will be a part of this year's program: Schrader Hall, Carpenter Tower, Cobean Hall, and Abbotsford Hall.
And for those not located in those residence halls, they'll still be able to have donation bins in their dorm.
Donated items will be sold at a yard sale during student move-in next school year. There's a sports team on campus whose preparation looks a little different than most sports.
And that's right, Grace. I could only try to keep up with them as they race through the elements.
It can be hard to find warmth in the snow, but not if you're on the Eagle Racing team.
It's running really well.
No, it is.
The brakes are really nice. The throttle's super responsive.
The off-road racing Society of Automotive Community Sponsors. competing across the country and even facing schools from India, Japan, Mexico, and Canada.
We basically built a car from scratch. The only thing that's stock is the engine. Everything else is student fabricated.
It's putting a lot of time into the actual design, making sure everything is right.
This is a blast. This is everything I could have wanted and more.
Then, they had to hit the brakes.
There was no team after COVID, essentially.
No team and no operational car. It was a bitter, cold time. Until this school year.
I started this year, I didn't know much more about the team than I did freshman year.
When a group of engineering students and nursing.
Yeah, Michael here's a nursing major, and he knows more than everyone.
Came together like perfectly fitted nuts and bolts.
A small group of us like banded together and like just got the thing to work. Oh, it's too wide. Wait. Oh, guys, I think I have it.
This year we've been able to get everything back on track.
They had engine problems at the start of their race in the snow in Michigan in January, but made their way through the field to finish 22nd out of 43.
That was awesome. So I'm kind of a pessimist. I didn't expect the car to do as well as it did.
It did, thanks to the right combination of tools and effort.
There you go. A little more, a little more, a little more.
We used to have a tool to do that. Special tools for simple tasks. MU Baja.
Because all they need is right in the race shop, in the snow in the parking lot, air in the tire.
That could use a little more air.
Fuel in the tank, and a spark of passion to ignite the once quiet engine and dormant team. I'm Timothy Leteau, Marquette Wire News.
Let's go!
And Eagle Racing's next event is an event in the backwoods of Oshkosh. And Grace, I went there and they let me drive the car.
Really? How fast did you go?
Only 30 miles per hour, but that's because they're racing over rough terrain, a lot of big logs and rocks and things like that where they have to make a lot of repairs.
Well, that sounds like a great time, Tim. Don't go anywhere though. Katie Munson will be back with our Marquette Now sports report after this.
So, I just moved in with his family and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of it.
Welcome back. I'm Katie Munson with your Marquette Now sports report. Coach Duffy and the Golden Eagles make 2 splashes in the transfer portal. Former Lehigh University guard Franny Hottinger announces on Monday that she is transferring to Marquette for her final year of eligibility. Hottinger comes to Marquette as the reigning Patriot League Player of the Year after averaging 20 points and almost 10 rebounds for the Mountain Hawks. Marquette picks up its second transfer Wednesday as Lee Volker announces on Twitter that she will be transferring to Marquette after 2 seasons at Duke. Volker left Duke in January for personal reasons, but she averaged 4 points and 3 rebounds in 12 games for the Blue Devils. Marquette now has 4 open scholarship positions after these 2 additions and the departure of both Juliana Okosun and Micaiah Williams. After a big win versus UConn, the women's lacrosse team looks to keep their historic season rolling versus Butler, and they did. Marquette comes away with a commanding victory, winning 22-16 to stay perfect in Big East play. Mary Schumer and Lydia Faust lead the way for Marquette in the win. Schumer had a day. The senior attacker had a Marquette record of 11 points with Big East record 9 assists and 2 goals. Senior midfielder Lydia Faust recorded 7 goals and 1 assist on the day. The men's lacrosse teams host the number 7 ranked Georgetown Hoyas in hopes of picking up a ranked win of their own. Marquette starts the scoring but Georgetown takes it to a whole other level, scoring 3 unanswered goals. The Golden Eagles score 2 quick goals while the rest of the first quarter is tight as the Hoyas and Golden Eagles trade goals and end the frame tied at 5. The second quarter is a low-scoring affair and the Hoyas head to the break up 8-7. This game is very close. Both teams trade goals until Georgetown starts to pull away at the end, going up by 2 with 3 minutes left in regulation. After a quick goal, Marquette is down 1 and in need of a miracle. And the lacrosse gods deliver. Sophomore attacker Will Foster picks up a clutch rebound and gets the goal. In heartbreak, Georgetown strikes a goal in overtime to take the victory. Coming up this week in athletics, the men's lacrosse team heads to Pennsylvania this Saturday to play the Villanova Wildcats at 11 a.m. with the hopes of getting back into the win column. The women's lacrosse team looks to stay in perfect Big East play this Sunday as they too travel to Villanova to take on the Wildcats at 11 a.m. That's it for sports, but don't go anywhere. Marquette Now will be right back with our Down to the Wire segment.
I surrender.
All right, pal. Get ready for the day, buddy.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
What's that?
Do we have a gun?
Welcome back to Marquette Now. I'm Julia Bouzahab, joined alongside Managing Editor of the Marquette Journal, Kimberly Cook. She's here to talk about this release of this semester's journal, Louder Than Words. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, Kim. How are you doing?
I'm good, Julia. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. So yeah, like I said, Louder Than Words is coming out tomorrow. How are you feeling about that? And what does Louder Than Words mean to you? And why did you pick that?
Yeah, it's actually a very surreal feeling to, see something that we've been working on as a newsroom for, about 3.5 months now, finally come, to in the physical format. We got the journals today and they're, on campus, but just being able to tangibly hold it in your hands is something really special. And in terms of what the theme means to me, Louder Than Words is all about bringing voices to the forefront of society that aren't necessarily heard, giving them a megaphone in a sense. But with those voices actually come the actions that associate with them, because you often hear people say actions speak louder than words, and I feel like this journal encapsulates that really well.
Yeah, and talking about that, what kind of content is going into the journal this year?
Yeah, so this semester the journal is, pretty much everything that we do here at The Wire. We obviously have our print magazine. It's also digital, of course. But, we also have our journal show, which we did last Friday. That's on YouTube. And then we also have our playlist that we usually do for the journal. And then something new that we added was our podcast series, which is something that's going to be really cool. Shedding some light on some voices that we might not necessarily hear as well, and giving them a platform.
And what kind of things inspired you as you were creating this semester's journal?
Yeah, so I would give a ton of credit to the design team here at The Wire, because while I conceptualize the words and what the stories are going to be, they really bring it to life with the color scheme and the patterns that they use. I really wanted to, as we were designing the pages for the journal, incorporate, the different color palettes and, motifs that they used in the pages into the different aspects, like, the podcast and, playlist, and making sure that everything was cohesive and made a product that we could all love and, cherish.
And what are you most looking forward to tomorrow during the release day?
Yeah, I'm just really looking forward to people finally, being able to have it and hold it, and seeing people's reactions to it. It was the thing I loved most about Life in Color last semester was walking around campus and seeing people holding the journal in their hands. So I think this semester is going to be a little bit more bittersweet, being that it is my last journal as managing editor. But I still feel like it's going to be super cool, super fun to see people reading these stories and seeing their reactions to them.
And this semester there's also a literary magazine coming out soon. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this semester, the journal has been around since 1904, and there's a long-standing tradition of, literary work being incorporated in it. So we wanted to do its own magazine. So coming out in a couple weeks, we'll have our Lit Mag imprint. So right now we're just going through submissions and making sure that, that comes together as well, and that'll be released in the next couple of weeks.
And what kind of inspired you to create this Lit Mag?
Yeah, so I'm an English major and a journalism major, so I've always loved reading and, poetry and things like that. And so while I do love journalism and all the things that go into, making those kinds of stories, I think there's something to be said about creative literary works as well. So I really wanted to give them, their own spotlight within a literary magazine.
Yeah, and I guess what kind of work or how long were you preparing for the journal this semester?
Yeah, so I started preparing for this journal literally right after Christmas. So I think 2 days after Christmas I started planning and prepping and coming up with story ideas, and I think it went through 3 drafts of a budget before it finally reached one that I was happy and content with, and because some of these stories are a little bit more sensitive and hit on sensitive topics, so making sure that those were handled properly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight, and I'm going to send it back to Tim and Grace in the studio.
Julia, Kim, thank you. Can't wait to pick up my journal tomorrow morning. That's our report for tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Timothy Lateau.
And I'm Grace Lambertson. Remember to check marquettewire.org for all the latest campus news. Good night, Marquette.